Okay, let's jump into this. When you picture Florida, first thing that comes to mind is probably sunshine, right? Loads of it.
Oh, absolutely. The Sunshine State, it seems like the perfect place for solar panels, everywhere.
Yeah, the potential's massive. Sources confirm Florida actually has the third highest potential for rooftop solar in the whole U.S.
That's huge.
But, well, here's the Florida twist we all know. It doesn't just shine, it rains. A lot. Like really heavy downpours. Storms pop up fast.
And you can't forget hurricane season. That's the big one.
Exactly. And your standard solar panels, well, they really don't like it when those clouds roll in, let alone a torrential downpour.
Right. That's the major challenge highlighted in the source material we looked at. When it's raining hard, the output from normal panels, it can just plummet.
Plummet how much, roughly?
We're talking maybe only 10 to 25% of their usual power. There was even a study, I think it was in Tampa. It found panels were only putting out about 10.6% during a foggy rainstorm. Basically, less sun means way, way less power.
So you've got this amazing solar potential, but it's constantly fighting against the state's, well, famous weather.
Pretty much sums it up.
Which leads us to this, frankly, kind of surprising idea that came up in the sources. What if the rain? What if it wasn't just the problem?
You mean?
What if it could actually be a source of energy too? Like, could you somehow capture electricity from the raindrops hitting the panel?
And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We've got this white paper from a company called Black Knight Power.
Okay.
And they're exploring this very concept, rain-powered solar, specifically thinking about Florida. The whole idea is, can you harness both, the sun and the rain?
Okay, that sounds futuristic, rain power. How on earth would that actually work?
So it relies on something called triboelectric nanogenerators. Let's just call them 1010s.
Tengies.
Yeah. And the research mentioned in the sources looks at integrating these 10s right onto the solar cells themselves, like adding a special top layer.
A layer that does what?
It converts the kinetic energy, basically, the force of the raindrop hitting the surface, into a tiny bit of electrical charge.
Wait, so the drop literally hitting the panel makes electricity.
Yay.
That feels so backwards from what we expect with solar.
Doesn't it? Because normally, yeah, rain means less sun, less power. But this 10 layer is designed specifically to capture energy from that physical impact.
Huh.
The research cited showed these hybrid systems generating some extra power from raindrops. It was small, like 13.6 microwatts per square centimeter in lab tests.
Okay, so it's not replacing the solar output entirely on a sunny day.
Oh, definitely not. But think about it. It could be really crucial supplemental power. It helps offset some of those big losses you see when a storm hits a regular solar panel setup.
Wow. So you're turning that negative, the rain, your solar production into, well, at least a small positive, getting some energy out of it.
Exactly. It's like the panel is fighting back against the bad weather, in a way.
That really flips the script.
It does. But, the sources are clear. Just having the cool tech isn't enough to get this on rooftops across Florida. There's a whole regulatory maze to navigate.
Ah, right. Things like net metering debates. I hear that gets pretty contentious down there.
That's a really big piece mentioned, yeah. Net metering, how homeowners get credit for excess power they send back to the grid.
Mm-hmm.
There are ongoing arguments, sometimes actual legislative fights, about how that should work. Utilities and solar companies, they don't always see eye to eye on the fairness or the grid impact.
Beyond that, I imagine insurance and just building codes are hurdles, especially with, hurricanes.
Oh, absolutely critical in Florida. The sources bring this up, like some insurers treating homes with solar almost like commercial property.
Which means higher premiums, right?
Exactly, more expensive. And then you have building codes, especially in places like Miami-Dade. A lot of them don't have really specific, clear standards for how solar panels need to be attached to, well, definitely withstand hurricane winds.
So installers are kind of figuring it out as they go.
They often have to navigate that uncertainty, yeah. It adds complexity.
Okay, so even with this potentially game-changing hybrid panel sun and rain power, you've still got to wrestle with permits, insurance, weirdness, and codes that maybe haven't caught up.
That's the reality. Companies like Black Knight Power, they're pushing this hybrid idea forward, but tackling those policy issues, those infrastructure questions.
Like building codes and insurance rules.
Right. And integrating things like battery storage to actually hold on to that energy you generate, whether it's sun or rain. All that needs to happen for this tech to really make a dent and help Florida's energy resilience.
So bottom line then, what does this mean for someone in Florida looking ahead?
Well, it suggests the future might involve being smarter about harnessing all the weather Florida throws at us, not just the picture-perfect sunny days.
Mm-hmm.
The source material points towards needing updates, better building codes for wind loads, clearer insurance guidelines, sorting out net metering, maybe even incentives for these hybrid systems.
So could this rain-capturing tech, alongside solar, be a real piece of the puzzle for Florida's energy independence, making the state more resilient?
It's a fascinating prospect, isn't it?
Turning one of its biggest weather challenges, all that rain, those intense storms, into, well, an actual energy opportunity.
It definitely makes you think about the next Florida downpour a little differently.